screw it.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem. Under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy, I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man. I'm a man.
All right. Hey there. How's it going today? Welcome to another edition of Man, the World is Crazy, starring a bunch of idiots that have decided to burn their entire world down. Oh, it's good stuff. Oh, man. I mean, today, also, I've been off for a couple of days. I didn't have live streams for a couple of days. So, of course, the algorithm will hate us. So make sure people know we're live. I'm sure it hates us every time you take off. Take a breather, man. It's like, nah, you can't do that. What you thinking, fool? But no, I appreciate you folks. How you doing? So it's been an interesting one in the fact that I've been watching two things go down. I've been watching, first of all, the fireworks from Aquaman 2, as apparently the teasers came out, the screeners, you know, those wonderful ones. What's up, Stacy D, by the way? Thank you for that 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that. First person in there, thank you too. I do appreciate it sincerely. But it's been fascinating because at first, when the screeners started coming out, guess what happened? The mainstream media said, oh, everybody loves it. Everybody loves Aquaman 2 right now. It's the greatest thing ever. Then slowly, you started hearing people that were actually there saying, nay, 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 that's not right. That's not actually the truth. The truth is that it's being considered as one of the worst installations of the DCEU so far. Now, there's conflicting news on the Amber Heard part. There has been news saying that she is an integral part. They put in the 20 minutes yet again. So maybe they're showing an early screener because they were talking about the cut down to 2 minutes. Who knows exactly why they're doing it, but my God, I mean the feedback on this. Look at these. I mean, look at these articles. They are horrible. Check this out. And DC, the funny thing is, they can't do any damage control to this either. Hey, what's up, Fallen Hero, by the way? Thank you for that gifted membership, too. Thank you for that. Sincerely, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, too. Again, you and Stacy D, both of you. Hey, there's a member chat, too. Mandy Lord, hey, thanks for the 2 months. You're back. We missed you. Hey, I missed you folks, too. I most certainly do. I miss you all when I'm away. Whoop. I gotta, give me 1 second. I got my phone. I had my phone on, and the sound was apparently on, so you probably not been able to hear it. Give me 1 second. I've got an echo coming in from somewhere. I thought it was my phone, but it's something else. There we go. I found it. All right. If you look at these headlines, check this out. Jason Momoa reportedly exiting Aquaman due to terrible upcoming movie. Aquaman 2 reviews, test screenings, boring, and one of the worst DCEU movies. Oh, poor screeners. Oh, not good. Not going well. Oh, man. Reportedly, you see, here was the first ones, though. So these were the first ones. Let me pull this up here. The very first ones from places like Fandom, Wire, were just from nowhere. I mean, okay, if you look at these don't really say anything positive per se. 1 second. I think a kiddo is just a minute. I think somebody's knocking on my glass door. Give me a second. I think one of the kiddos is trying to come in the bottom door here. Give me a minute. Oh, Lord. Give me a second. I'm live streaming. I'm live. Hey, kiddo, I'm live streaming.
I need to go and lock the door.
Okay, go ahead. Here, shut that door and lock it, okay? I'm live. I'm already live, so it's live, okay? So when you're talking, I'm just like telling you. All right. Hey, they didn't come today. Not yet. I don't know if they're supposed. My thing says they're not supposed to be here for 3 more days. So I don't know. Maybe Mom got a thing. Anyway, we'll talk about it a little bit, okay? Yeah, one of the little ones walked around. They got here, and I think they forgot their front door key. So they're coming through. They walk around the house, and they're like, "Hey, let me in." All right, but the first articles that came up 3 days ago were actually positive spin articles, like this one. Oh man, look. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom test screenings reportedly went extremely well despite that. Oh, we're hearing great things. So you see, yeah, look at all this greatness. Now, there's a lot of ads in here. I just pulled this up. Oh man, I mean, look, they're telling you. And what did they base it on? Oh, home of DCU. So it's a fan site saying, oh, breaking. Oh, yeah. And look, oh man, it had test screenings. And I'm hearing, oh, it's the most hyped of the movies, of course, behind the Flash. Oh, yeah. Also, Amber Heard has 20 minutes in it. So I mean, they were pushing it. They were pushing it hard. Now I'm going to look up this too. I'm curious about Momoa and the Flash thing. I haven't even looked that up, but I thought that was fascinating considering when it first came up, I didn't even notice it. It didn't even make a blip on the radar, which tells you people weren't really excited about that thing. When people are really, I mean, even all the herd sims can get that thing rolling. And then today, well, yesterday is when you started seeing discussions about how bad the thing was. They said that there were huge problems with it. They said that the same movie has been tested 4 times already. That's what's being noted about it. So, I mean, when you think about this, you've got a problem with the movie when you not only test it, but you test it 4 different times. That tells you there's 4 different cuts of the movie, meaning that none of them are actually screening well. That might explain why you had Amber Heard show up for 20 minutes in this one because who knows which screening of this is. But here's the thing. If you look up the budget of Aquaman right now, all of these issues are issues that they can't get over. And the reason that they can't get over that is because they've already blown past anything that they think is a safe bet. See, they typically, this movie, if you put $200 million into this movie and you had no problems at all, that might actually work out. You know, you might not be talking about any kind of potential big issues, but the way this movie is setting currently, with all the blowback that it's had and everything else, yeah. So there was actually a Variety article that talked about the budgetary issues. It came out, let me a minute here. This came out. What's up, Laura? Thanks for the 2. When is Aquaman 2 scheduled for theater? It's scheduled in December. So December of this year. I mean, they pushed it as far back as they could, trying to keep it away from the trial, trying to keep it away from everything else. But here's the main issue, and this has been talked about multiple times. Multiple sources have come out and talked about this. Variety, though, is the first to break the fact that, just listen to this part here. 2 sources tell Variety that before James Gunn and Peter Safran took the reins at DC, Warner Brothers co-chief Pam Abney had to tell Aquaman 2 director James Wan to reduce his reshoot budget for the Maritime sequel, which had already expanded to over $205 million over production, rather. 205 over production. Now you think about that cost, okay? With movies that you go in and you hype big, like a movie that you really need to push, you really need to advertise, you always you figure the rule on that is around double the budget. With this movie, you're especially going to double the budget because this movie has problems. You're going to have to do a lot of hype. You're going to have to do a lot. And I don't actually think that Warner Brothers can afford to do that. Right now, they are cash strapped. They are so cash strapped that Zaslav, the guy in charge, came out and talked about the way that they're going to make money is they're going to use, first of all, they're going to use write-offs for tax implications. That's one of the reasons that they canned Batgirl, because they could can it and use it as a write-off. They were going to can $2.5 billion. They were also going to lay off a bunch of people, and that was going to help them become cash solvent. So they don't have money. So on a loser of a movie that's not doing well, I mean, you think about this. If you have a $400 million cost, that $400 million cost to break even, remember, you get roughly, again, it's been lower because of the beer bug stuff, especially overseas, but let's just say you get around 50% of what you make in the theater these days. 50%. So to break even with a movie that costs $400 million after advertisement, you're talking about an $800 million film. Now, the first one made $1 billion, but the first one was a surprise. This one, who knows what'll happen with it. A lot of their money came from overseas markets, and some of those overseas markets, they're not, there's a few of them that are not very, let's just say, Western friendly right now. So they're going to have some real problems. They're gonna have some real problems with this movie. It's amazing. I mean, if you look at the numbers for the last movie, let me see if I can pull those up real fast. Numbers. You look up the numbers for Aquaman, though. I mean, they were actually they were good. I mean, they were surprisingly good, and that's how you end up with $200 million to actually burn on that. Plus, here's another thing that tells you that there's problems with Warner Brothers. If Peter Safran is an executive producer on Aquaman. He's the guy who came out and told you that Amber Heard, if Jason Momoa and James Wan were good for it, then so was Amber Heard. You remember that statement? Yeah, that guy, if he is behind the scenes telling you, yo, you got to cut that budget. And if they're telling you too, they haven't come out. The discussion about Jason Momoa, God, this chair, man, every time. It's like, oh no. They haven't come out and actually supported this movie, as in saying, yeah, you know what, Jason Momoa, he's staying as Aquaman. Now, they're not going to tell you that he's switching characters yet, because what'll happen is, if he is going to switch characters to Lobo, like they've been talking about, that would be a dead on arrival movie if they actually confirm that. Now, I believe that Jason Momoa has already confirmed that. If you look at some of his early statements, he said, well, I can play different characters, and as far as this, he described that Lobo character. Now, the only reason you would have him playing multiple characters, like, you're not talking about a spot character here or there. You're talking about, he could stay Aquaman. He could do a guest appearance here and there in a movie, but as far as Lobo is concerned, he could adopt that main character, and it would give him a parachute out, because he's not the reason that movie failed. But if you look at the early numbers from the last one, look, you had $335 million made domestically, but internationally, that's where your money came from. $808 million. That's where it came from. And it's not the same game anymore. They are screwed. I mean, they are absolutely screwed. It's going to be beautiful. I love it. Good stuff. What's up, Savage Wolf? Thanks for the 2. Feel for Jason, but love watching the trash fire. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point where if companies treat you like absolute trash, then screw them. That's the way I look at it personally. And I do feel bad for them, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. All right. Now, I want to show you the trash fire that's going on Spoutible. This is the most amazing thing that is happening. Now, this starts out, give me 1 minute here. I got to lock on. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and forth locking on. Okay. So this stuff starts out because of TOS. Now, this sounds different. Let me explain this, okay, before you think it's about one thing. Spoutible, that's Chris Bouzy. If you don't remember Chris Bouzy is the guy, Mr. Bouzy Bugs. He's the guy that Nate the lawyer is suing. This is the guy that came after me, came after many other people, but came after me hard, trying to shut me down. Took money from Amber Heard. Also, I very much believe, and he posted about taking money from Meghan Markle and Meghan and Harry. He was in that Netflix documentary. He runs Bot Sentinel. Well, he decided to start up his own social media platform, one called Spoutible. Now, Spoutible was supposed to be the alternative to every problem out there, right? It was supposed to fix all of these social ills. The problem is that, well, you're dealing with, a lot of people wanted to abandon Elon Musk because, oh man, Elon's a monster. But as I've said many times before, you don't abandon one. God, chair, man. You don't. I got my chair caught on the. I have a desk over here. It got caught. I was like, I can't move. Anyway, sorry. That's my shiny swirl kicking in. You can't abandon one social media platform for another when you're trying to take a cult of personality and get away from it, and then go to another. Now, when I'm talking about this, I don't think you should feel bad for any of these people either. You know why? Because they were totally okay with Chris Bouzy dogpiling on everyone else. They were okay. In fact, they supported him until he came for them. Then, oh no, he's a monster. Laura B, thanks for the 6. Tug asked Gail to make you see his new t-shirt. Oh, yeah. I saw an email. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, man. I'm going to look at it, though, for sure. Because I'm curious. I know you were talking about it, and I want to see it, man. I want to see it. I'll look at it in just a minute, too. Actually, let me see. I got to look. Oh, that's hilarious. freaking wall. 1 second. Oh, that's funny. Oh, the pickle you. Oh, that's funny, Gail. I like it. That's really funny. Sorry. Okay, so Chris Bouzy has a problem over TOS on nudity, on porn, essentially, is how it's shot. But here's the problem. It doesn't really just hit porn. I mean, if you look at this, this is a, let me make sure this is locking every time I switch. Okay. This is actually a very nebulous TOS. It's not, it's very ill-defined. It's something that you could get banned for almost anything. I mean, it says, there are exceptions for medical, health, education, or artistic content. Well, as this person points out, there are huge problems in that description. Again, you could be banned from anything from fanfic to calling out an alleged abuser. You can be banned for anything, pretty much. It leaves it up to the person's discretion. I want to read you a little of this too, because Bouzy, oh my God. So Bouzy is going to go after this person. This person is not they're not white, okay? But apparently, according to Bouzy, ultimately, this is going to devolve into Bouzy saying that he's being attacked because he's a black man, and this person isn't black enough to attack a black man, or not white enough. I shouldn't say black enough, but not white enough. I love it. Oh, it's such a trash fire to watch. This is amazing stuff. So. And you look, this is getting a lot of attention. The other thing you should notice, and I found this to be very fascinating, as these people are fighting, they're not fighting on Bouzy's platform, Spoutible, about this. You know why? Because if you have problems on Spoutible, he bans you. You question him, he bans you. Which I'll show you in just a second. So even Chris Bouzy doesn't have a big enough cult behind him on Spoutible yet. He has a bigger one on Twitter, so he's relying on them. But the herd simps, they've been turning. I mean, it's beautiful trash fire. So it starts out with the things that violate Spoutible's adult content. Please, policy is here. Please effing read before comment. I will note that. So they say, here's the exemptions. There's no exemption for political content. There's no exemption for public interest content. When they say that. There's no exemption for this. Exemptions provide no safety to a user. So you have additionally, these exemptions are basically useless. Rather, they are not saying that you can post materials that are medical, health, educational, or artistic merit. They simply say that they may have, in their discretion, they may not get you banned. So you may get banned there. This is not going to be a comprehensive list, mind you. They're just like, hey, these are issues. So number one, it's a violation of this story to post a link to the New Yorker article here detailing Deborah Ramirez's claims about the current sitting Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Why is it a violation? Because point 2 of that policy prohibits engaging in sexually suggestive or explicit language in posts, comments, or private messages. This is not about images. The policy explicitly prohibits using language. So the listen and believers that gather together, they can't tell listen and believe stories, and that makes them very mad. That means that a bunch of herd simps that come together and talked about, say, Amber Heard and what supposedly happened to Amber Heard, oh, they can ban you for that. Ramirez's language in this article, that Brett Kavanaugh exposed himself to her and thrust his in her face, discusses a person exposing himself, sexually explicit conduct under that link, and arguably also oral genital contact. Thus, its language is barred from the site. This information is not educational, it's not scientific, it's not medical, it's not artistic. It's just vital political knowledge about the effing D-bag who doesn't think any of us should have rights over our reproductive organs. Like I said, I'm just reading this because again, whether you agree or disagree with this, folks, half of these people have me blocked, by the way, because they all love Bouzy until he turns on them. And I'm like, fuck all y'all. I love it. I love it. I love watching them. Never confuse me talking about this with me supporting these. I support that. I support the trash fire. I'm always piling on the kindling, baby. But like I said, these people were okay when they dogpile folks like myself. It's amazing how it works, isn't it? Now, of course, the site may not choose to ban you, but you shouldn't have to take that risk. This is exactly the kind of discussion that serious platform needs to include. 2, it's a violation of the policy to discuss whether the show Game of Thrones is more rapey than the books. So remember the discussion they had? They apparently had one. Remember people posting screenshots of sex scenes from Game of Thrones for comparison purposes? Well, congratulations. That's sexually explicit language again. Yep, can't have that. Now, maybe the moderators, they might not ban you, but maybe they will. Links to books on Amazon that contain sexually explicit content. That might get you banned under that. So this person, again, the point in this is they're telling you, like anything could get you banned. What does it all mean? You could get banned for an eggplant, right? I mean, if someone says, hey, handsome, is that banned? Is a woman posting a picture in a bikini banned? Is a picture of feet banned? Is posting Tom Holland's umbrella video? That's sad to have that name. Banned? That's trademark. Get off that umbrella. But again, you see their point here. Now, because they bring this up, Bouzy, now they're actually nice about this in the fact that they offer to help Bouzy rewrite the terms of service. That seems nice, right? I mean, they actually are saying, hey, we can make this work out. It's mild criticism at best. Yeah. So Chris Bouzy decides he's going to go this way. Now, this goes over like a lead balloon. This is so bad. Because he says, well, this person, apparently they have an agenda when they're bringing up. Why do they have an agenda? Well, let's see. Oh, well, because if you notice this right here, during the 2007-2008, she clerked for a judge here, Alex K., the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Court. She later alleged that during her time of employment, he called her into office 3 times to look at porn, repeatedly asking if the images aroused her. So Bouzy just went out and attacked a woman that is saying that I have been assaulted, the very thing that he's supposed to not do. Oh, whoopsie. So he promised them a safe space. He promised them a place where they could do anything, they could accuse or whatever. But apparently there was a survey that said, should we have this or not? And yeah. Carol, thanks, dude. Thank you, Tuck, for helping us more than you know. Hey, I appreciate you. Like I said, y'all help me too. Y'all get me through some boring and fun, some days that are just like, ugh. It is fun to go through this stuff. So this does not go over very well. You can see the comments that are attached to this, for example. And again, 1,000 likes on it. If any of you thought Bouzy was creating a safe space for women in marginalized communities, you should know. You should know. He went after her. After asked him about a problematic policy, he attacked her, claiming she has an agenda. Now, this claim of agenda starts a dog pile effect too. And one of the things that he said, of course, is the platform. It is anti-harassment. He said no harassment there, which means really no disagreement at all, right? Well, again, Chris Bouzy dog piles this person because of it on Spoutible, but especially on Twitter. Because again, the funniest thing here, this argument isn't happening on Spoutible. Even Bouzy doesn't have the argument on Spoutible. They're arguing it on Twitter. That tells you his platform is a fucking joke. If you bring this up on Spoutible, you get banned. In fact, give me 1 minute. Let me find one of the people that's telling you about getting banned. There are quite a few of them, in fact, that did indeed get banned, but some of them, it's funny because, okay, here's an account that brought this up. They brought it up on Spoutible and they brought it up on Twitter. They ended up getting banned. Why did they get banned? Because, quote unquote, cross platform harassment. So questioning Bouzy when he's dogpiling someone gets you banned on the platform. This isn't a one off either. There's plenty of them. They're all over the place where he's just banning the hell out of people. And it's amazing because when you look at the trash fire that this has caused, I mean, it's caused a huge one. Again, what happened on Spoutible to her is unacceptable. Specifically, someone in a position of power used her past traumatic experience as a victim of sexual harassment to argue that she has a sinister agenda rather than sticking to disagreement at hand. Oh, he's going to go worse, though. He's going to use race. Race is going to be the next big thing there. Given the patriarchal dynamics of our society, this is what you're trying. Again, oh my God, this is a buzzword fest. But this is what Bouzy wanted. He buzzwords. He attracts the buzzword crowd. And I'll tell you, these two forces they can't coexist. These folks, they have to eat someone all the time. People like Bouzy thrive on devouring other people, destroying other people, and crying into his soft pillow if anyone so much as criticizes and Bruce's soft ego. So you have listening believers. They love to cancel people. Again, I don't know anything about hers. I'm just saying that right off the bat, you're not ever supposed to even question. You know how that goes. The Amber Heard simps, they're all over it. Funny enough, the Amber Heard simps, they are not even happy about it. I mean, if you look, like you have, oh my God, he uses the Amber Heard and Meghan Markle stories to build his reputation as someone who protects marginalized groups, throws marginalized groups to the wolves over the mildest criticism of his lack of safety policies. And he said, look, yep, someone sent this to me. It's coordinated, man. It's coordinated. So he goes after Ella Dawson. Now, this is somebody who has me blocked, by the way, because again, they're totally down with this shit. They are part of the lynch mob until the lynch mob doesn't work for them anymore. What's up, Chunky Monkey? Thanks for 3 months. Thank you for keeping the streams up. Love watching the following day. Yeah, I've been trying to keep them up unless they when I'm going through the Ricada lawsuit, I can't. There's some of it I can't. It's pretty spicy. And the last one we went through was particularly spicy. So that one I couldn't. But I've been trying for the rest of them for sure. And thank you. I do appreciate your feedback on that too. And thank you. A Magic Judy. I like the name. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, by the way. You, Stacy, everybody, man. Thank you all. Thank you for what you do here. Also, Dreadnought, thanks for the 5. Not very safe and inclusive, Bouzy. Guess that's what happens when you name your platform Spoutible. Yeah. You know what I always found funny about Spoutible, by the way? Just here's the thing. Have you ever looked up what spouting off actually means? Because on his platform, it's to spout off or spouting off. If you look up what spouting off actually means, it's not a positive thing. So all these people that are quote unquote spouting off, yeah, it means to speak about someone or something in a particularly boastful or arrogant manner. So you're arrogant, you're an ass, you're spouting off. Or informal, to speak for a tedious or exasperating length of time. Oh my God, all they do is keep spouting off, shut it down, like that. Or to utter something in a brash, unwelcome, or pleasant manner. Oh man, you need to shut that down. You need to quit spouting off. Again, it's not a positive thing. There's no positive in there whatsoever. And I thought that was hilarious. All these people. And it fits Bouzy to the T, actually. I think it fits him right to a T. He just He's so educated, man. He's so educated there. So it gets even better as you're going forward. Let me find this. There's one I really, really liked. Give me 1 second. I have to find it. So Bouzy decided to go with two things on this. First of all, Bouzy decided that it would become the best way to deflect against this was to basically make it a race thing. You created an account on Spoutible. You didn't like the adult nudity and sexual content policy, so you asked to speak to a manager. You know, Karen. He's calling them Karens. That's going to go over well. Again, his fragile fucking ego can't take the fact that someone said, hey, this is not a good policy. You need to create. It's mild criticism. You should ignore it or be like, yo, I hear you. We can talk about that. When you're starting out, you have these moments. These are moments when you prove whether or not you have any business acumen. Bouzy obviously doesn't because his ego gets in the way. His narcissism, it comes out full force. He could have just said, yeah, you know what? I hear you. We can have a discussion about this thing. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know too that so you not only have the groups, the listen and believe groups that go after him, you have the fanfic groups. Now the fanfic groups, they use different identities. You have them primarily noting LGBT of some sort. That's how they're defining under that specific, catch-all. But you have so many groups that are throwing out identities saying, yo, you know what? We came to Spoutible to get away from the evil Elon, only to find out we're not welcome there. Because if we write about our fanfic or we write anything that you don't like, you may ban us. And they said, actually, this is a quite apt comparison for for what they do. Okay. I don't care what you write fanfic about. Like some fanfic is creepy when it deals with regular people. I think that it gets a little creepy, okay? But if you want to write, I don't care, man. Like, just to be honest, I don't care. Some fan fiction is actually really good. I way back, I think I did a fanfic. I'll see if I can find it. It's probably online somewhere. It's so bad, but I'll see if I can find it one day. It was like a oh God, I don't remember. It's a cross between X-Files and Alf, I think. But I'll see if I can find it. It's so dumb. It wasn't really that. It was like a Facebook post, and I was like, all right, well, I'll put it on this thing so it'll live, and it did. I think it's probably still there. Bessie Knox things to do. I'm laughing my ass off. Aquaman 2 is going up in flames. Take that, Warner Brothers. Yeah, so much money, so much. Let's see. Oh, check my Twitter DMs. Present from you from the Bouzy Spaces today. Oh, I'm gonna have to check this out. Yeah, there was actually, so let me read this. He said, oh, you asked Karen, the manager is a black man who told you the policy stays, and your brain couldn't process being told no by a black man. Happy Black History Month. So again, you're all fucking racist if you have a problem with that. You like that? I think that's beautiful. So he was like, yeah, you can't stand when a black man tells you no. Again, it's become an identity crusade, which, oh my God, I love it. Give me 1 minute. So on top of that, you have a really fun one here. So give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. All right. So there's a discussion about Bouzy and Spoutible. And during this discussion, there's a lot being talked about with rhetoric. I mean, there's a lot of rhetoric that comes up, and there's actually a thread on this being put together. So check this out. I like how this is going to end because this goes really, really poorly. So he's like, Bouzy goes out of his way to find women to harass, to distract from his myth-making shit. At no point were sex workers. So he talks about sex workers trying to post adult content. That's where he goes with. And queer people were who noted that sex panics are always homophobic and transphobic. Unreal. So he's looking for targets. He's lying about what's happening. Then he goes with that post that I showed you, and on down. As it adds, he gets to a certain part that's like, whoa, wait a minute. So they know, why is Bouzy implying that this particular person here is not a woman of color? Wait a minute. Maybe around the 20-minute mark, he said something like, the main person that complained about this. Listen to this quote here. This causes him some actual problems with all of this. I mean, think about making this statement. Think about how jacked up you'd have to be. He says, is apparently considered a woman of color and not a quote unquote white woman, but all the people supporting her were not women of color, and I'm a black man. So, yeah, well, I can't use the black man philosophy because she's not really that, but yeah, everybody supporting her isn't. And you know what? Since I'm a black man, it still trumps you. Oh, shit. It's so amazing. USSJ for Broly, thank you for that gifted membership. Thank you for that. I appreciate it for sure. Mystified, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships too. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you all for being here as well. I appreciate that. USSJ for Broly too. Thanks for 5. Tug, may I ask that we go over Nate's GoFundMe link, please, for everyone? Possibly pin it. If we can't let the fire go out on this lawsuit. Yeah, indeed. Actually, we'll go over it at the end. I'd planned on bringing it up as we were going through it. So, I mean, that's amazing. Again, they're eating each other, and it has become a wait a minute. So the response to that, again, just the back and forth is amazing. So here's the response to that. Oh, GD, I don't want to have to do this, but can we stop effing erasing the queer people, the women of color, the black women, the black trans queer man that Bouzy himself literally quote tweeted twice. Oh my God. It's a one up. You can't win with black man because, hey, wait a minute. I got more buzzwords than you. Because as a black trans queer man, I got more clout than you, baby. I love it. Holy shit. This is what we call the oppression Olympics. It's when, people come out and they try to out oppress each other. And this is getting into the medals right here. I mean, it's like, whoa, baby, who's going to win the gold? Who's going to win the gold? It does. It started out, like I said, it was like, women are being erased. And it's like, no. Along with that, we have queer people, as it says here, queer people being erased. It's like, oh, no. The fireback was, nope, black man, you're trying to erase me. And the fireback was black women of color, black trans, queer men. It's holy shit. It's like rolling up a machine gun with buzzwords. I love it. I'm telling you, man, this for real. This is one thing I love to tune into in Twitter, the Impression Olympics, because again, there's a hierarchy of quote unquote oppression. Yeah, you would be at the very bottom as like a white male. White women, you're just right above the white man. In fact, you're barely above that. Barely above that. And it goes up. The more buzzwords you can attach, the more your voice is supposed to matter. And that's actually a fucked up thing. You either have a point or you don't have a point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what your identity is here. If you have a valid point, then you have a valid point. And again, there's a thing too when thousands of people are agreeing with something and they're saying, yo, and you've got a fledgling Setup. Yeah, he's been able to weaponize identity. In fact, he has a lot of politicians on his side. It's actually quite disgusting when you get down to it, if you're really being honest about it, because he has political clout on his side, actual political clout, because he has buzzword his way into liberal spaces. He's used those incels and those MAGAs. All of you are MAGA. I didn't realize. I don't know you realize that or not, but according to them, you are. And they've used it, and it worked successfully. In fact, his account exploded during the elections because he was supposed to be a really accurate source on elections, which he wasn't. He got a few of them pretty wrong. But he buzzword what people wanted to hear. And when they buzzword the same, here's why. Like, I don't want you to get it twisted. I tell you right off the bat, I don't like politicians. If you think I like your politician, I don't like them. Okay, I won't lie to you about that. If you buzzword and shit, you won't like me. If you don't like something you'll disagree with, you probably won't like me, and that's okay. You don't have to. I appreciate you being here. I'm not trying to run you off saying that, but I don't want to lie to you about it. This guy lied. He lied a lot because really he just wanted to set up something that was about his own ego and narcissism. It wasn't a quote unquote safe space for people to have discussions. It's a place where he rules over his little fiefdom. He basically controls knocking folks out. But I will recognize that there is a certain number of white people who do not clock me as being half Chinese, but don't tell me that I'm apparently considered a woman of color when I've repeatedly been in the news for standing up for this shit. But it's been insane to watch him say that Olivia Wade drew the queer community into this when she's a queer woman who writes queer romance. She asked for clarity. So that's where that comes from, by the way. Like I said, I gave you a broad stroke on that, but she asked. She was like, yo, if we're writing fiction or we're writing fan fiction or whatever, are we going to get banned on your platform? It's like, oh my God. So he targeted that person as well. And had multiple sites users tell her that she was not wanted, and that's what they've been doing. Like Bouzy has been pointing out the people and dogpiling them, telling them you're not wanted on this site. If you don't like it, get out. And again, if you think you're immune to that, wait until you disagree one day. That's the thing. That's why consensus opinions are poison. You should be allowed to have a dissenting opinion. You should. I mean, again, there are times where people are just jacked up nut jobs, and you're going to get individuals like that. But again, this was just about it. It was a terms of service question. And if Bouzy can't handle that, how can he ever handle criticism? See, everything else he did, these are the same people that supported him when he ended up doxing the personal information of over 25,000 users. They stood with him. They stood with him as he dogpiled other people. Like I said, myself, yourselves, any of you and beyond. So I don't feel bad for any of them. They should have known what they were getting into. But they always think, well, he used the right buzzword. So, of course, he's on my team. We're taking down the right incels, right? Aren't Dizzy? Thanks for the 10. Damn it. I missed the beginning. Start over. I'll leave it up for you if you want me to. I will leave it up for all of you. Dreadnought, thanks for the 2. Buzzword slap fight, indeed. I love those too. Snake Plush Kitten, thanks for 2. I hear Bob Seeger about this. Beautiful, indeed. It's beautiful to see how again crazy this stuff has gotten, because holy man. Dreadnought, thanks for the 2. LOL. A certain someone's My Chemical Romance fanfic. Oh man, that was really creepy when we read that. That wasn't it? But yeah, so, and when I say insane, I mean it makes my brain feel like it's full of bees, not anything about him. If the platform was welcoming for us, it's time to say that was when the questions were asked. The people to ban were the people telling Olivia that her work, they put it in scare quotes, as a writer of queer fiction and a reviewer of books for the New York Times, was not wanted. If Bouzy wants to talk about direct quotes I made from his policy and how I read them, fine, but lying about who was doing the talking shouldn't be his only fucking argument. I want to acknowledge that there have absolutely been bad faith attacks on Bouzy that were racially motivated, and I know that sucks, but this is bad, really. Oh man, don't give him an inch. By the way, this is what I fucking find disgusting about all of this. I want to note that there are bad faith attacks because of race. Really, because all I've seen is race being used by one person over and over again, and he dogpiles. He absolutely dogpiles. And also, I told her no, like this. This was part of telling her no, sending people to harass, having spoken out about sexual harassment. Actually, this is adult. Oh, I can't lie. I have to lie. This is outside. So, and finally, at no time have I demanded adult content be on Spoutible to surprise people. I'm very much a fan of consent. I asked for clear rules. That's exactly what was there. They asked for clear rules, and that's what got them attacked. Just to be 1,000% clear, I read Nate the lawyer's lawsuit. Oh no, it doesn't have any merit. And I hate people who target Meghan Markle. So anyone who's lying, I'm not in the common cause with you. That's great, because you know what? You're burning yourselves out. I love this. By the way, those fucking incels, baby. I love it. I don't think Nate the lawyer has a point. Why are you attacking me, Bouzy? Try to lap that pool, baby. Try to lap that pool. Finally, let me insult Bouzy by telling him that he should have gone and spent $6 to register a DMCA agent with the Copyright Office so he doesn't lose his entire shirt to copyright trolls' vicarious infringement claims. Me saying this is extremely rude because he's absolutely had to have a viable site. But on the other hand, I just suggested truly a devastating insult. Again, I love that stuff. Now, I wanted to bring that part in too. Give me a second. Since they brought up Nate the lawyer, that is the perfect opportunity to actually bring up Nate the lawyer's GoFundMe. Now, Bouzy has been celebrating the fact that he thinks that Nate the lawyer can't get at him. Why? Because he figures Nate the lawyer's defamation claim here is going to die on the vine. Now, this is at 38,913. It's got 1,100 donations. Again, I'm not saying everybody can donate. If somebody would link this in the description, there you go. Thank you, Mystified. I'm going to pin it. So this, I'm not saying that you have to donate or anything like that, but at least share the thing around. Make sure it has movement, because this, it's fun. It's funny. And watching them scramble, watching them beg and cajole, watching Bouzy try to pretend that he's not scared of this thing. It's absolutely wonderful. In fact, you're seeing more filings. There's actually a new filing I've not gone over yet. I will look at it pretty soon after this. But again, Nate noted, short version, he was targeted by the scam artist, known as Christopher Bouzy. Bouzy falsely claimed that he's not a lawyer, committed multiple felonies. This is the problem right here. Like all these people who are saying that this isn't a real thing, that it doesn't matter. He clipped a live stream intentionally. He clipped it and made it look like Nate the lawyer was admitting that he liked to plant evidence. When anyone tried to comment on this at all, he would hide their quotes, and he went after Nate the lawyer, saying that everything he's ever done should be overturned, that he 100% should be able to burn down his career, get him disbarred and on. That's a problem. Bouzy knows that's a problem too. It's a big problem for him. It's a big problem that if you get into that discovery process, oh, it's going to get really ugly. They're at the motions dismiss stage. If it dies on the vine, it dies on the vine. But don't let it die on the vine because it doesn't have funding. So again, you can see the link at the top. If you have social media, even if you don't fund this thing, I want you to make sure that you share it everywhere because people need to understand. I mean, this is fun times right here. This is entertainment that will last. For the low, low price of just a few dollars, you too can make entertainment. And I love seeing it. I do. It takes time too. It'll take time to build up for there. I think it can. I think that you have to have a few people. You need like a Nick Rekieta to share it around a few times and so on. It needs to be pushed a bit. But yeah, Nate the lawyer, I mean, he has an interesting case there. One that, again, this is a guy that wholesale destroyed multiple people. He destroyed them. Not that he went after them. He took them down. He went after he got in with the, what do they call it? The Sussex Squad. And that's what they call the Meghan Markle. Again, I don't care personally if you love Meghan Markle. I don't give a shit if you do. I think some of the stuff around that is absurd. I laugh at it. I've been laughing at the South Park and them getting so upset about the South Park thing. I find that to be absolutely hilarious. And you know what? I should be able to find that to be absolutely hilarious. That is my right to be able to discuss. These people, though, they went out and they wholesale attacked and shut down folks. And Bouzy, of course, screamed about, oh man, the reason they need to be shut down is because they're white women and they're attacking a black lady. He also, of course, took money from Amber Heard. Tug, have you seen all the BS Bouzy is tweeting about Isaac Baruch? No, I have not. I have not looked in a bit of time. I've actually not since the Adam Waldman discussions that were recorded. I've not. I take umbrage with that. You can hear they're recorded. Adam Waldman has never done an interview, and yet there were recordings of Adam Waldman put out, and they had to be recorded against his consent, or at least not with his consent. I have a problem with that. So I haven't watched anything else. I just, I mean, for real, like that part of the case, there's nothing new with the case. Isaac Baruch, I don't really care if Isaac Baruch is, he was very believable on the stand. I don't know anything about the man, pro or con, but he seemed very believable and very much a decent person on the stand. He spoke what I felt like was from the heart. He seemed very much bothered by everything that came up during the trial. And in that moment, I felt that he was telling the truth. Everything else, I don't give a shit about. I don't care if there's some personal issue or anything there. I just don't care, you know? And I don't mean that on you. I'm saying like Isaac Baruch, I formed an opinion on him based on the trial. He seemed like he did what a friend would do. If one of my friends, at the end of the day, if I got accused of some heinous shit, I would want a friend to speak up for me like that. He didn't, even Heard treated him somewhat decently, you know, like when he was talking, she even found some of the stuff he said endearing. And that's what particularly made him impactful, because he was seen not as being nasty or aggressive or having some kind of, malicious intent. He was seen as He was seen as somebody that was just speaking the truth. And his truth, that truth, it wasn't his truth. Let me say, it was the truth. It came across very well. He was a very effective witness. But more than that, he seemed like a very effective friend. So I think anything else that's thrown that way, it's noise. And it's old noise at that. It's old hat, because why does it matter in the aftermath? The trial, like I said, I'll cover if there's arguments about what's happening online. Right now I'm watching one of those crazy herd simps. I'm watching one get accused of grooming a 15-year-old. That's going to be a fun topic to cover because he apparently ran a Amber Heard fan site or some shit. But apparently at 38 he's being accused. Again, accused. I don't know if it's true. Here's the thing, though, the caveat in that. It shouldn't matter what I think. Listening believers should drop on the sword and say, yes, sir. May I have another? I will take one for the team. It should not matter if it's true. It should matter. It shouldn't matter what the truth is. It should matter what their truth is, right? That's what I heard over and over again. You got to support her truth, not the truth, her truth. So they need to drop on this sword and fucking eat it. So we'll cover that. That'll be a fun one. But I want to see it all play out first. It's brand new. It's pretty new. It's happening right now on Twitter. It's so good. Oh, I love trash fires. I'm like, oh, may I bask by it, sir. May I bask by it. But yeah, that's the thing I have a problem with listen and believe culture, actually, period. You notice everyone believes in justice when they get accused. It's an injustice to be accused, and they want justice when they're accused. But when someone else is accused, you need to listen because their truth matters. And again, as always clarifying that. It's not, as I said, they're accusing people. It doesn't matter if someone comes out and says something happened to them. You can support that fully, man. It's okay. But when they accuse another person, man, it's got to be right. Otherwise, you may potentially be the one who creates a victim. You can talk about it. You can formulate your own opinion on it. They still destroying their life over it. That's messed up. We either believe in due process or we don't. Even with the most heinous individuals. Now it becomes a particularly interesting idea when heinous seeming individuals, when controversial, shitty people get accused of something, because then you really get tested on that fact. And a lot of people, they do fail. Myself, sometimes I have trouble with some people. Like again, I know, like when I say investigate people too, there are people, again, I fully believe aren't just guilty. I believe they're beyond guilty. Brian Singer is one. I believe very much because of evidence that has been gathered over decades that man is a pedophile. I very much believe it. And he's welcome to sue me over that statement if he doesn't agree. But when he does, it will be a fascinating discussion right into a jail cell if he's not fucking careful. Because that guy, there's so much information on him. And it's been gathering since before the millennia. That tells you how long that's been going on. But that's the key there. Investigating something, looking at it. And it's difficult to look at something from a lens of objectivity. Some of these accusations are heinous. Like, I have to challenge myself on, I find pedophiles to be the most revolting pieces of shit on the planet, and destroying them, it's totally fine with me. But you want to make sure they're right, and you want to make sure. I did a video the other day. I haven't talked about this. So I did a video on the Jim Carrey. I haven't actually talked about that. But Jim Carrey was accused of being on the Jeffrey Epstein flight list. Now, Jim Carrey says that's not true. Jim Carrey said he has evidence that it's not true and so on, and that he would sue the YouTuber that basically didn't just present this information, but presented it as if it were factual. Not that it was alleged, but it was factual. That's a very important discussion you should all learn from. That's why the allegation allegedly comes up, keeps you out of litigation's crosshairs. Now, that one's going to be fascinating because when the Epstein, this is what I've said. So there was a discussion a while back. Let me pull this off here while I'm talking. There was a discussion a while back with Elon Musk. Supposedly, he was saying that, or there were people saying that Elon Musk had the list and that he was going to put it out. And everybody was like, yeah, that'd be great. My question, though, in there was, how do you verify what Elon Musk says? If he did that, how would you verify it? Because I'll tell you, that'd be the best way to destroy somebody you didn't like. Saying that they were connected to that shit, that's the best way to destroy somebody. You can burn them down. You can burn them down big time. What's up, Blast Radius? Thanks for that. The word spoutable is a terrible word for a social media site. It implies you're spouting off propaganda. You're spouting off nonsense. Yes, indeed. And that's it's actually called spouting off when you tweet. It's spouting off, you know. WikiLeaks was sued by the EU for a similar thing. Yeah. I mean, there's been lawsuits like this. Here's the thing. Like, for me as a video maker, I'm not saying I can't get something wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that at all. It happens. It happens sometimes. You know, as I said, there was the best scenario I can think of on one that I had to clarify. Because the clarity came over time, the more I thought about it, and the more that came out about it. J.K. Rowling with the Depp situation. J.K. Rowling when Fantastic Beasts 2 came up, she backed Depp, backed him publicly, had power, did everything there. You could see she advocated. When Fantastic Beasts 3 came up, she did nothing. And at first, I was like, what the fuck? That's betrayal, dude. Right? But no, when you look at the situation, it wasn't. It wasn't that at all. It's that she lost her footing, her setting with Warner Brothers. She had no power anymore. They were scrubbing her off of anything. She had not stopped advocating for the man. So in that, I got that wrong. I admit it. I talked about it. I made a correction on it. It happens, you know. But the problem is that is an error in looking at something and gleaning the wrong impression off of it. It's not pointing an accusation at somebody that burned their life all the way to the ground. So if you want to get it, you better get it right. And I'm not saying that it's not right. I don't know. But Carrie says it's not right, you know. And the person, so there's a YouTuber. Again, it's a good video because I tried to put everything into it. I thought it was pretty good. There's a YouTuber that put together a video on the list, and he made a couple of comments about Jim Carrey in that. Now, he was sent a cease and desist. And in part of the cease and desist, of course, they said, hey, this has to remain private. So what did he do? Of course, he blasted it all over the place. He fed it to the media, everything else. And I thought, man. Now, the YouTuber said that they thought they could win the case, you know, because this stands for actual malice. And I don't think they understand actual malice, first of all, because when you look at actual malice, it's not just that you knowingly, you know, did something and you knew it was false. It was acting with reckless disregard to whether or not it is. You may lose over that, but regardless of whether or not you could win there, the other thing that someone like a Jim Carrey can do is they can try to break you financially. And they may break that person. They went and they leaked that cease and desist. I'm not saying I wouldn't do something like that either, because I'm an asshole like that. I probably would too. But I would go to war too Yeah, I would be right. I would feel that I was very confident, but they left their video up, and they essentially they redacted. They didn't redact Jim Carrey's name, but they had a picture on there of him. They took it down, but they talked a lot of shit. Talked a lot of mad shit, and I'm wondering if that's going to get them going ahead, because I would imagine those lawyers are just salivating. What they do is they send the cease and desist to say, hey, we exhausted every other effort to get this done before we sued you. That way they can actually, again, break you financially. But anyway. All right, man. Well, anyway, I'm going to call this one early. This is only an hour and something long. I still think it was a good live stream. I think it was fun. It was short here, but I've not been 1,000%. So I think I'll call this one a little early. I thought it was fun, though. It's fun to get back in here. Like I said, I've been over for a couple of days. I haven't decided. Yeah, same with the Twitter files. What makes people think he's not just cherry picking and releases what he wants and pretending that's all there is to see. Oh, there's more. Like, here's the thing. With the Twitter files that there's more to see. And you know why you know that? Because he wants, like, Jack Dorsey to look like he had no part in it. He and Jack Dorsey are friends. In fact, I think he knew what was there in Twitter because of Jack Dorsey. I personally believe his friendship there told him where to look. I think that helped him out, in going out and doing that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that will never come up because he wants to only promote certain items. And he also, it doesn't even get into his own hypocrisy too. What's up, Maz? Thanks for the 2 months. Hope you feel better, Tuck. I'm not feeling great myself. Hope everyone is good. Hey, you need to get better. You need to feel good. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to end here and we'll do it tomorrow. Thank you.